वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So I would like to express my gratitude to all the guests assembled here today this evening, Saturday night. Also our IYS team who has invited me today for this Prerana festival. And of course, all of you, all the way you have come to attend this Prerana. So my gratitude to all of you for taking out your time. Today we are celebrating 191st Prerana. It's a great effort, and it was not possible, this journey was not possible because of all these great souls who have given their association from this platform. So my respect to all those great speakers, devotees who have given their valuable association from this platform. And it's a great pride that we are completing. Just next month we'll be completing 20th year of Prerana Festival of Joy and Inspiration. Hari Bol. And of course, this journey would not have been possible without all of you. For so many years, many of you are coming, few are coming for first time. And that also on Saturday night. Generally, we have this on Saturday night. And today, especially, when Mumbai Indians is playing. Huh? And that also in Mumbai. Mumbai boys coming to Prerana on Saturday night. It's quite amazing, because they have so many things to get absorbed with. Now, this happened in Yamaraja's court, that he was calling everyone and asking everyone, where do you like to go? And they were giving their options, whether heaven or hell. So this boy came, and Yamaraj asked him that, where do you would like to go? First, you like to go to heaven, or would you like to go to hell? So Yamaraj was also not knowing. Boy is from Mumbai. Huh? So he said, Prabhu, मेरा मोबाइल और चार्जर लाके दे दो, और उसके बाद जो मर्जी है जिधर भेजना है उधर भेज दो. So, having so many distractions on your way, still you manage to reach here. That itself is a greatness, We have a topic today, great thing for a great life. Because one time I remember, I was also calling for some boys for Prerana festival. And he told me, yes, I'm coming. And he started with me from hostel. And as I was moving ahead, as I reached to the gate of the hostel, and he said, Prabhu ji, 2 minutes, just आगे चलिए आप, मैं आपके पीछे आ ही रहा हूँ. And I went ahead, and to see the boys gayab, went somewhere else. So it's very great thing that you all have decided to come here. So today we are going to discuss this another interesting topic, that is great thing for great life. Before we go ahead, it's a very beautiful quote here. Not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great. Because greatness is determined by service. This is the first and foremost understanding of greatness. So my question to all of you is that, when we think about, what it comes to our mind? A lot of money, a lot of fame, a lot of followers, millions of followers. That is what greatness is all about, isn't it? So how many of us with that definition can become great? Few of you might be, isn't it? शर्मा रहे हो, नहीं तो सब लोग हाथ खड़ा करते थे. Not all can become great with that definition, but this service can be rendered by anyone. So, when we are rendering service to someone, that itself is a greatness. It could be anyone, from person sitting next to you, to the country, to the whole humanity. Service can be rendered. Another beautiful definition of greatness. Just do what must be done. This may not be happiness, but it is greatness. Just do what must be done. We do all those things what we are not supposed to be doing, and trying to experience happiness in so many other things. And those must things have been set by scriptures, by sages, which can fulfill our heart. That is one another beautiful thing. One time, a person went to a village and asked the villager sitting over there that, is there any great person born in your village? And everyone was looking at that boy, that person. And they replied, in our village, in our town, only babies are born. Greatness is a choice, what we make in our life. Greatness has been decided by our actions. And greatness has been decided by our sacrifice. Here is beautiful another quote by one great lady, which her name was Maya. You can only become great at things you are willing to sacrifice for. One cannot become, there are 5 things in life we all are juggling with. We have work, we have health, we have friend, we have family, and 5th one is spirit. That 5 things makes life. So in 5 things, 1 thing is made of glass. 4 things are made of glass and 1 thing is made of rubber. What is that 1 thing made of rubber? Work. Yes. That if it is, even if it is falling down from our hand, it will bounce back. But 4 other things to maintain it requires sacrifice. One husband and wife having a very humble background, poor, they did not have those things that they can meet their days in. So that day, the wife told husband that, can you bring a comb? Can you buy a comb for me? And husband said, do you know, for so many days, the strap of my watch is broken. I could not purchase that. So from where shall I bring money for your comb? So, and he left. As he went into the market, he saw a shop where comb was sold. It was sold. So husband thought, in so many years, my wife has asked me something. So let me fulfill her desire. So he sold his watch and purchased a comb. And when he came back home, he saw his wife's haircut. So he was astonished seeing her haircut. He said, I brought comb for you. Where are your hairs? And she said, I have brought a strap for your watch. I cut down my hairs, sold them, and purchased the strap. And seeing that, he brought comb, she brought strap for her, his watch. Both started crying. Both started shedding tears. And then they realized the value of sacrifice. They enjoyed more when they sacrificed. They could connect more when they sacrificed. So all these 4 things, spirit, family, friends, and health, need sacrifice. So, you can only become great at those things which you are willing to sacrifice. And finally, this quote from Srila Prabhupada: at one's greatness is tested as per his ability to tolerate provoking situation. We all face provoking situation, isn't it? So many situations we go through in our life. If just one thing, if we learn how to tolerate them, that itself is greatness. So no matter how many followers you have, no matter how rich you are, no matter how famous you are, no matter which skill you are born with, which talent you are born with, it doesn't matter. If we could achieve this, learning to tolerate provoking situation, that itself is greatness. And today, I'm going to discuss with you, this story of a king and of a sage. In those provoking situations, in those trying circumstances, how they dealt with. And that is what the provoking situation is, trying situation is. Two things can happen when there are provoking situation or trying circumstances. What are those things? आप निखरते हो या बिखरते हो. These two things can happen. सूरज की रोशनी में तो कांच के टुकड़े भी चमकते हैं, है ना? सूरज की रोशनी में कांच के टुकड़े भी चमकते हैं. वो तो अंधेरे हैं जो हीरो से मुलाकात करवाते हैं. And in those trying circumstances only, the real heroes, the real great people, they come to the surface, they come to the light. And that is the story today we are going to discuss. That this king, this sage, both went through a difficult situation in their life, but they managed to deal with those situations, and they came out with flying colors. So in life, you have two kinds of people. One of those who teach you what not to do in life, and second one are those who teaches you what to do in life. Both the people are important. They are the teachers. And this story begins with this of a sage. So this king is a famous king in a ISKCON dynasty. His father was great emperor. His name was Gadhi. His son was Kaushik, King Kaushik. And this, Shri Radha Gopinath Ji Bhagwan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. And when King Kaushika, when he became the king, he had a great sovereignty. He was ruling whole planet. He was happy. One day, as all kings do, he went for hunting expedition. As he was in the forest, he saw a humble hermitage of a sage. He was strolling in the forest. When he saw that hermitage, he felt that I should offer my customary veneration to this great sage. With that intention, he entered into that hermitage, that ashram of the sage. And there were very few things lying in the ashram. And that attracted King Kaushika. He thought, wow, this is such a great ashram. Very few things are available over here. This must be a great sage. Meanwhile, he learned that this hermitage, this ashram, belonged to a great sage whose name was Vashishta. Vashishta came to know that emperor has come to his hermitage. He jubilantly came out of his hut, welcomed the king. Pleasantries took place. He offered him a seat. He offered him food. He offered him water. King sought his blessings, offered his respect to him, and sage showered blessings. As he was about to go back, King Vashishta, sage, told him that why don't you have your lunch? You must be very tired in this hunting expedition. So why don't you take lunch? I will make arrangement. King Kaushika said that sage, because he could see that there is nothing available much inside the hermitage. So he said, why shall I trouble this sage? And from where he will arrange? King Kaushika thought, let me go ahead. Your kindness and your words are sufficient. King Vashishta said, no, please sit and have food. King said, I am not alone. There is my entourage, thousands of army people, thousands of ministers, and so many sons. King Kaushika had so many sons. So how you will arrange? So Vashishta said, please bring them all. And when he brought, and he thought, okay, what he will give? Some roots and fruits. But for their amazement, everyone was flabbergasted when King Vashishta served sumptuous prasadam to each and every one of the king's entourage. And when they ate, they had never eaten such food in their life. Isn't it? When you eat prasad. So everyone was, the look of the food, the taste of the food, it was just, they could not take their mind off. And even the king was thinking, my God, how could this humble sage arrange in such a large quantity, with such a great taste, and with unlimited quantity? It's not that one serving was happening. As many times as they wanted. And when king saw all these things happening, he was having some other thoughts in his mind. How could this sage arrange? And he came to know that this sage, Vashishta, had one cow. Wish-fulfilling cow. Isn't it, Kash? Her name was Sabala. And it was given by Lord Vishnu to Sage Vashishta. It was a product of churning of ocean. And King Vashishta was utilizing that cow for his yagyas, his different worships. So now this King Kaushika, he started desiring that cow to be in his entourage. Because something when you start liking, isn't it? You get hooked to that. Then that thing doesn't go out of your mind. It is always ringing, always circling around your mind. I want it. I want it. No matter what, I want it. Isn't it? One becomes obsessed with those things. So king said to the Vashishta, as you all know, you know that I am the emperor, and whatever is in my territory belongs to king, belongs to me. So now I desire this cow to be in my entourage. I am ready to exchange anything in exchange with this cow. Vashishta said, I can't. I can't exchange. It is not some commodity. It is a cow. So when King Kaushika saw that denial, King Kaushika saw that Vashishta is not ready. He could not take that refusal. Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangat se upajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho vijayate. Kamat krodho vijayate. When your mind becomes obsessed with something, when you want to have, then intelligence gets covered. That anger, that obsession, that desire covers your intelligence. King Kaushika started using his force. He started dragging that cow with him. And the cow, she was having emotions. She could speak. She could understand. She could not take up this force. She was looking at Vashishta that, please save me. Why you are not stopping? But the sage Vashishta, he said, he's a king. And all the more, he's my guest. How can I stop him? I said no, but he's now forcefully dragging you. Now, if you want to protect yourself. And as soon as she heard these words from Vashishta, immediately this cow started producing unlimited soldiers. When they came out, they destroyed, annihilated Kaushika's army. Isn't it? Now this is what, when someone becomes angry, what happens? Your intelligence gets covered. King Kaushika, when he could see that the cow can produce such a amazing food, can't she produce any other thing? Can't she protect herself? Simple logic, na? Isn't it? But when anger takes place, when obsession takes place, intelligence is covered. And that is what happened. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa. Your one thing, when you become attached or obsessed with, that creates ruination. And when this Kaushika realized whole of his army has been destroyed, annihilated by the cow, now the sons of Kaushika, they started thinking that now our cause of destruction, the root of everything is this sage Vashishta. And then with raised weapon, they charged towards Vashishta. Vashishta saw them attacking. What he did? Just this much he did. This is called Humkara Mantra. Nothing happened, isn't it? But when he did, all the sons who had accompanied Kaushika destroyed. They fell dead on the ground. Kaushika was left all alone. He could not do anything. He could not think about anything. This is what happens when anger takes over. Delusion. And then next time when he saw that helplessness, when he was experiencing that helplessness, just like a serpent without fangs, he went home disgruntled, disappointed. And then when he looked back, that he just could think, one sage, one cow made me so helpless, created so much destruction. And then starts the story, another story. And this story is of R, and R. The story is of revenge. The story is of request. And the story is of respect. It's not what you thought. I know. So, King Kaushika, he started thinking, how shall I take my revenge? How shall I reverse this situation? And when he contemplated on that, he thought, I have to perform tapasya. I want to perform austerities. So he gave up the first sacrifice. He gave up his kingdom, made his remaining son king, and he went into the forest performing tapasya to acquire more power so that he can annihilate Vashishta. He performed severe austerity unto Lord Shiva. And Devo ke Dev, Mahadev. And he thought, yes, with that acquired power, I will annihilate Vashishta. And many years he performed austerities in deep Himalayas. And after some years, Lord Shiva appeared and asked him, what do you want? He said, I want all those powerful weapons, all the military science, says, whatever it is there, please endow those things so that I can take my revenge. Lord Shiva said, Tathastu. With the renewed energy, renewed power, Kaushika straight went to the Vashishta's hermitage, Vashishta's ashram. And he started creating havoc there. As soon as he saw those hermitage, those huts, he burned them down. All the people inside the ashram started running helter-skelter. They were running. There was chaos. They were shouting, screaming. And one of the burnt heart, sage Vashishta, came out. Because he could see there was so chaos, what was happening. Because he was the in charge of that ashram. When he saw that King Kaushika had come and he had done this business, so he stood there. But seeing Vashishta, Kaushika became infuriated. है ना, दुश्मन को देखने के बाद you become or. So he said, be ready. Vashishta said, for what? You will be annihilated. For no cause, King Vashishta said. And whatever you have created, whatever chaos you have created here is for no cause. So Kaushika said, if you feel yourself powerful, then outdo me. And he threw all his weapons, all his power. He utilized all his power to kill Vashishta. What Vashishta did? Vashishta had a small danda, which is called Brahma Danda. He just kept that danda in front of him. And all the weapons, all that sciences, what Kaushika had learned was evaporated. And finally, he had the superpower weapon. That is Brahmastra. In front of that, no one can stand. He thought, this will be my trump card. He threw that. And that small danda absorbed even Brahmastra. And again now, Vishwamitra, his king Kaushika is also known as Vishwamitra. He was standing there, humiliated once again. Oh, what is this? He has again outdone me. Although you go in front of someone boasting so much, and गुब्बारा फूट जाता है. And that what happened to Kaushika. He could not stand. Utter humiliation. He came with so much power. He came with so much of vigor, energy, but went back, humiliated. Now, with another thought, he understood that Vashishta is a Brahmarshi, and Brahmarshi's power is the greatest, which I could see. Now what he wanted? He wanted to be Brahmarshi. For what? Revenge. And then he started severe austerities once again, deep in Himalayas. He started, the first thing what happened? When he started, Brahmaji came. Now this time, he started worshipping Lord Brahma, the first created living being of this universe. And he can only bestow that benediction to be a Brahmarshi. This had never happened in history. A Kshatriya, a king, to become a Brahmarshi. It is the highest title. So, when Brahmaji appeared in front of Kaushika, what he said? He said, you have performed so much of austerities. I can confer to you Rajarshi, the title of Rajarshi, but not Brahmarshi. So again, there was a dilemma in front of Kaushika. Shall I accept? At least Rajarshi is also not an ordinary thing. Today we have only thieves. Raja is also not there. So he said, what we would have done in that case? We would have settled, chalo yaar, at least Rajarshi. But King Kaushika said, no matter what, I want revenge. Rajarshi will not be sufficient to deal with Vashishta. So again, he said, no, you go back. And he went, he asked Brahmaji to go back. Brahmaji went back. He continued. He continued with his austerities. And after many, many years of his tapasya, it was going on. There was one another king ruling Ayodhya. Now, so many years he has been performing tapasya. So in the kingdom of Ayodhya, there was a very interesting king lived. And that king desired a very strange thing. That king's name was Trishanku. This king was very handsome, very powerful. And when you are handsome, what happens? You keep looking in the mirror. Even if we are not, we still keep looking. What to speak of when somebody is handsome or beautiful? So this king, when he thought, a very unique desire came to his mind. What was the desire? The desire that I want to go to the heaven with the same self body. स्वर्ग जाना है, लेकिन इसी शरीर में. So he thought this is a novel desire, unique desire. Let me fulfill this desire. So, this king in a Ikshvaku dynasty had a teacher, and he happened to be Vashishta. And he went. क्या क्या डिजायर लेके जा सकते हैं देखो. So he said to Vashishta that, my dear sir, I have got a noble desire. So Vashishta said, what is that desire? So he said, I want to go to heaven in the same body. When Vashishta heard, what he said? Wow. Huh? He said, foolish desire. Jatasya dhruva mrityur. Isn't it? Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma mrityu sacha. One who has taken birth, he has to die. There is no option given. There are no MCQs. Yes or no? The yes is also not there. Only no. Not possible. And he chastised him. That, what is this? How can you have such unlawful desire? This is the importance of a coach in a life, teacher in a life. Teacher can correct where your faults are. He can point that out. People in the film industry, in sport industry, they pay coaches a good handsome amount. For what? They have more money? No. To find their faults. To bring their best performance. So coaches, the teachers, they encourage the student. Also, they correct their faults. So here, Trishanku had such a great teacher who could see fault in his mentality, could see his unlawful desires and wanted to correct him. But Trishanku thought, I shall not take it seriously. नहीं बोलते रहते हैं टीचर. Let me fulfill my desire with some other people. So what he did, if my teacher is not fulfilling, so he went to the teacher's sons. Vashishta had 100 sons. And they were also powerful. So he thought, if he is not ready, this is a Kali Yuga mentality, you know. Kali Yuga mentality means like this. If you do not fulfill my desires, then someone else. This degradation takes place. Whoever fulfills my desire, but my desires need to be fulfilled. Isn't it? And everyone is thinking, currency is falling, na? Indian currency is falling. Has hit its lowest. But somebody wrote that currency will not fall. And in Hindi it is said that वो currency का value इतना नहीं गिरेगा जितना आदमी currency के लिए गिरेगा. Isn't it? He will not fall that much. That currency will not fall that much. And another mentality is that people think, if somebody gives you some work to do, तो somebody said me, काम ऐसा करो कि नेक्स्ट टाइम वो व्यक्ति सोचे कि इसको काम दूं कि नहीं दूं. Make him so miserable, he thinks that आगे कभी वो काम देने के लिए सोचे ही नहीं. So this is how, our mentality works. And here Trichanku thought, okay, I will go to sons, Vashishta's sons. And what offer he gave them? He said, you guys, you want to prove yourself? I have a best way. So all this fellow, they thought, अरे चलो नया project आ रहा है. What is that project? And through project you can show yourself, na? So he said, Trishanku said that you send me to heaven in the same body. Your father has denied, but you can prove yourself to your father also. बाप को दिखा दो. So they were also not Kalyuga's sons. They said, you fool. When our father has said no, do you think we are going to take same thing? He said, I will pay you whatever you desire. What's wrong in it? Is desiring wrong? No. And this is also very noble desire. Send me, show your power. Son said, you are not going to learn your lesson this way. So they cursed him. You will lose your beauty, you will lose your wealth. And immediately, he lost his beauty, he lost his wealth. Now the same Trishanku who has been given respect so much in his kingdom, now nobody could recognize him. He's our king. And in that destitute situation, he came across King Kaushika. Another name is Vishwamitra, King Kaushika's. So, he saw Vishwamitra performing tapasya. Vishwamitra saw him coming. And he spoke his story. That how I had this novel desire to go to the heaven in the same body. And my teacher, Vashishta, as soon as Vishwamitra, King Kaushika heard Vashishta, his antenna got open. Well, what he did? Well, he denied making me this desire fulfilled, fulfilling my desire. As soon as Vishwamitra understood that Vashishta had denied him, so he said, I will take this project. I will take this project to send you to heaven in the same body. What King Kaushika did is this. King Kaushika manipulated Vishwamitra's emotions. He was also knowing. If Vashishta said no, he will say yes. If Vashishta says yes, he will say no. And this is what happens with all of us. Our emotions are manipulated. Once, 3 thugs, they saw one gentleman carrying goat on his back. And all these 3 friends, the 3 thugs, they thought, आज उसको उड़ाना है. गोट को निकालना है. But how to take it? Because if we snatch it, he will shout and people will come running. So they devised a plan. So what happened? The first fellow saw, as that person was walking on the road, the first of three, he passed by and he said, "Arey, why are you carrying dog on your shoulders?" The fellow said, No, I am not carrying dog. It is goat. He took down, he saw it was goat. He said, I think that fellow is bewildered. He went ahead, carried goat. The second person came on the road. And he started shouting that, why are you carrying a donkey on your head, or donkey on your shoulder? Now, he got confused. He saw whether it is goat or a donkey. He bring it down and saw it was goat. And the fellow is saying, hey, donkey you are carrying. He said, I think something wrong. But he still continued. He carried that goat. Third fellow came. And when he spoke, hey, why are you carrying calf on your shoulders? Now this time, he brought that goat down, saw it was goat. But now he was completely shaken. He was trembling. He thought, this creature might be some bhoot or something like that. Whenever I take it on the shoulders, it is changing his form. So he left that goat there and he started running without looking back. And these three fellows came together, happily carried back the goat. And this is all of our story. When many people, they carry the right faith, so much of manipulation takes place on emotional basis. Your friends, when you want to perform some spiritual activity, when you want to develop faith in spirituality, there are so many things, media, so many websites, people, philosophers, they manipulate our emotions to make you give up what is genuine and to make you accept what is fake, superficial. And that is what Trishanku mentality is. Just to manipulate emotions. Now, this King Kaushika had taken now this project to send him to the heaven. He called out everyone. He said, Bulao sabko. All the sages should come and see my display of power. Everyone came except Vashishta and his sons. So he cursed them that they should become tribes for 700 lifetime. So, okay. But he did not, he could not curse Vashishta. And now the saga started. In front of everyone, Trishanku started lifting in air. With a great speed, he charged toward heaven. Like a rocket. More than that. अभी आदमी अगर रॉकेट के स्पीड से ऊपर जा रहा है, what will happen? His head will split, isn't it? All that trouble he was experiencing. But he was also having that desire, that fulfillment. At last, my desire is getting fulfilled. I don't mind what pain I am going through now. So, when that king was riding, he was just came in the vicinity of Swarga, Indra saw that this fellow is coming in. in the same body. And he doesn't deserve because he had disobeyed his spiritual master, Vashishta. So he doesn't. Vishwamitra, the King Kaushika, was happy that, see, and all the sages who had assembled to see this event, everyone was applauding, seeing the great power of Vishwamitra. But by the time everything gets closed up, Vishwamitra saw Trishanku coming on his head, charging towards earth. Now, he used his power to send him back. From above, Indra was pushing him down. From here, he was pushing him up. Table tennis. And in that, Kaushika thought, Trishanku was thinking, what is happening? Now, it was no more of Trishanku's ambition. Now it was Vishwamitra's ambition. Isko bhejna hi hai. Now, whatever it may come to. And from above, Indra was using his power. Finally, he could not do anything. He said, okay, I will create another heaven, a prototype of heaven. And he created another prototype, exactly like heaven. Now, he created. Creation is very easy, isn't it? Destruction is also easy. To create something, yes, required some passion. To destroy is also easy. But what is most difficult task is maintenance. You can start your spiritual life and can end also in a day. But to maintain anything in this world, anything to maintain is not so easy. So he created that heaven, but he could not maintain that. So creation is been taken care by? Speak. Lord Brahma. Destruction is taken care by? Maintenance is taken care by? Lord Vishnu. The most difficult task has been taken care by Lord Vishnu. हर दिन सूरज को उगाना है, if सूरज has to rise every day. ऐसे नहीं कि 4-5 दिन सोचा कि चलो कोरोना है तो क्यों मैं आऊं भाई, हाँ, running late. Not a single time it happened like that. So, Lord Vishnu has to maintain. He is maintaining. He is taking care. That time, Vishwamitra thought, if I have to maintain this, because his head was splitting, he could not maintain. All his power got exhausted in this one project. And in that helpless, utter helpless condition, he chanted loudly the holy name of the Lord Vishnu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And Lord Vishnu appeared. Lord Vishnu assured him that, okay, you have created, no problem. I will maintain it. But Trishanku, who is going to reside over there, he will remain अपसाइड डाउन, सर नीचे पैर ऊपर, उल्टा, in that heaven. So just think, living life in a heaven, having your sir down and pair upar. What Apsara you will see? What Nandan Kanan garden you will see? Huh? And they cannot even do that, changing degrees. He got his desire fulfilled, but completely in opposite. So such are the nature of unlawful desires. Sometimes you may get fulfilled, you may fulfill them, but the repercussion, they are very, very difficult to manage. So now this project got over. By this, Vishwamitra had exhausted all his powers. Again, back to zero. He started performing more severe austerity. He did not forget his goal. So he again performed, this time, he performed so much austerities. Now, Indra in the heaven, he got disturbed. He thought, this fellow, if he could create another heaven with his power, he can also take over my heaven. So I have to do something. So Indra has a trump card. What is that? Apsara. क्या बात है? वो तो मालूम है इसको, है ना? So one of the beautiful Apsara from heaven is Menka. So he said to her, you go and do the needful. She came and just with few sounds, she could distract Vishwamitra. And Vishwamitra got distracted. Temptations. In our journey of practice, we get distracted by temptations now and then. Vishwamitra, when he saw Menka, he forgot. Similarly, when temptations comes, we forget what I am supposed to be doing. And we forget what I need to achieve. And temptations gives bliss, but it distracts you from your goal. They offer happiness, but they give a lot of regret. And controlling temptations is challenge. But when we have right guidance, when we have right people around us, we can say no to temptation. They may come. You cannot avoid temptations in this world. Actually, when I was studying, it's close to my college, there was one gift shop. Uska naam hi tha Temptations. So, you cannot avoid. They will come, but you need not have to welcome them. है ना, कोई आ गए तो आ जाओ. आपके लिए वेट कर रहा था. Somebody asked me, अरे आजकल इंद्र अप्सरा क्यों नहीं बेचते? है कि नहीं? So I told him, that for today's generation, PUBG and the internet is sufficient to distract them. No need to Apsara to come and distract you. So temptations, they will come, but you need not have to welcome. Because they are distracted. And Vishwamitra got distracted. He lost whatever goal he had. But he again thought, again contemplated back. One day, he thought, "Arey, main kya kar raha? What was I'm supposed to get?" Where I got distracted. Now, when he understood that I need to go back, so the main girl also understood कि अरे इसको आ गई है. He has got back his memory. So she started trembling. That now this sage will curse me. But this time, Vishwamitra, Kaushika, did not curse her. He took responsibility. It is me got distracted. She came on Indra's order, but I got distracted. So it was my responsibility. So everyone has to take that responsibility. Oh, I decide to get distracted. And he went back to tapasya. So there are no shortcuts on great roads. Trishanku wanted shortcut, bypassing everything and reaching heaven. And then I will be great. But Vishwamitra, he remained. Okay. What was his goal? What was his goal? Revenge. Now, he again started back with all that intense, austere situations. King Indra again got disturbed. We have to disturb him again, distract him once again. So he asked another lady, another Apsara, Ramba, that you go and distract him. Meanwhile, इसके बीच में और एक one thing happened with Kaushika. That one of his nephew, whose name was Shunashepa. What had happened? Another king in that area was performing yajna, and his animal who was going to sacrifice, which was going to get sacrificed, Indra stole that. And this king was searching who will be the person whom I can sacrifice. So he got this Sunshepa. It was a long story, I'm just cutting it short. So this Sunshepa was the nephew of Vishwamitra. So as he was performing tapasya, and this king took rest close to this place, and Sunshepa was trying to escape from this, means he was trying to find ways. Shri Radha Gopinath ji Bhagwan ki jai. So Shunashepa, he was trying to save himself, and he told his story to Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra gave him few mantras and asked him, learn these 2 mantras effectively, because this can save your life. So Shunashepa, his life was on stake. He learned those things so attentively, and he saved his life. After this incident, because he was helping this new fellow, Shunashepa, his nephew, he lost his austerity, his tapabal. But again, he started back, and then Rambha came. This time, he understood the ploy of Indra. So he did not want to get distracted, but he became angry at her, and he cursed her that you become a stone And you will be redeemed when some Brahmarshi will come. And again, he lost all his, so many times he lost his acquired strength. And he again started. When he started this, now he realized there are so many things happened in my life. So many distractions, so many ups and downs. This time I will going to achieve. So if somebody would have been there at our place, he would have given up. The greatest mistake someone can do in his life is giving up something. But he did not give up. He continued. And when he continued, Brahmaji came again. But Brahmaji, what he told him? That you have not yet controlled your senses, so I cannot offer you what you desire. He again got disappointed. अरे इतना करने के बाद भी, what we would have done? We would have blamed. अरे इतना करने के बाद भी नहीं दे रहे हो. But he did not settle for that also. He again, with all his intensity, he started. And what we see, after some years, Brahmaji, along with all his devtas, they were about to come, but they sent one test. After long years, Vishwamitra wanted to have his food. And he got his food, and he was about to eat. Indra disguised himself as a Brahmana and came to Vishwamitra, asking for food. है ना, अगर आप भूखे हैं, खाना आपके सामने है, and that plate has been taken away, what will happen? You will become angry. है ना, hunger and anger, दोनों पास पास में ही है. When you are hungry, you become angry. So, but this time, Vishwamitra happily gave his food without getting angry, without getting disturbed. Went back to his tapasya. And when this incident happened, Brahmaji, with all the devtas, they appeared in front of Vishwamitra. And all the devtas in unison, they told, we are happy. He can be given this pad, this title of a Brahmarshi. So Brahmaji told Vishwamitra that, yes, ask whatever you want now. So the first thing he said, that all the knowledge of the Vedas should be imparted to me. Brahmaji said, Tatastu. And second thing he asked, let all these sages accept me as Brahmarshi, including Vashishta. So Vashishta came and accepted Vishwamitra as Brahmarshi. And the next thing, what Vishwamitra did, no one could believe. No one could believe their eyes, what he had done. What he did, he took Vashishta's feet, placed on his lap, and washed them, worshipped them. Because by now, he had realized, he had gone through so much of agony, so much of trouble, so much of humiliation. He realized to be a Brahmarshi is not a child's play. He realized in his life that enmity with such great personality is useless. Why did I envy? Why did I have enmity with this such a great sage, Vashishta? Vashishta had tolerated all those atrocities. He could see that. And he realized the value of Vashishta. And he wanted to beg forgiveness. from him. He wanted to take shelter of Vashishta. And that humility is another aspect of greatness. Sheer determination made ordinary Kaushika extraordinary. But humility, what he displayed, made him divine. And when everyone saw this, they understood the stature of this great king, Kaushika, who is also known as Vishwamitra. And this Vishwamitra, when he looked back in his life, after achieving Brahmarshi, that prized, desired goal of his life, when he got it, what was his thought? When he looked back, he remembered one experience in his life which surpassed all those experiences. What was that? The appearance of Lord Vishnu when he was in utter helpless situation. And that time, the joy, the bliss he felt in his presence, that was surfacing. That was the great experience he had in his life, more than what he had achieved, that Brahmarshi, that stage of Brahmarshi. He had become great. But he was experiencing greatness when he experienced Lord Vishnu's presence. And to have that presence in his life, he came to Ayodhya, to Dasharath Maharaj, to become a teacher of that same Lord who had appeared as Lord Ram. And he became the instrument to bring Mother Sita and Lord Ram together. That was the greatness of his life. Bringing those experiences with what he spent with Lord Ram is the foremost in his life. So similarly, when we are moving in our life, when we want to become great, when we are searching for greatness, yes, all those things matters. Your determination, your attractions, avoiding temptations. But what is the most important thing in that greatness is devotion. That devotion made this king, Kaushika, a great sage, Vishwamitra. So, just before we end, I'll just summarize what few points we discussed today. When Kaushika went to hermitage, he was expecting that Vashishta should give his cow. He was expecting, and therefore, that expectation led frustration to anger. And then the episode started of revenge. So in life, when we are expecting, expect with flexibility. Adjust your expectations. Don't remain obsessed with the expectations. That is the one great thing we can do. The second thing is beware of your emotions manipulation, emotional manipulation. There are so many thugs on the way. He could be disguise your friend. He will say, "Arey, kutta kyun carry kar raha hai?" The third thing is, pride is great robber. So many times, King Kaushika showed his pride in his abilities, in his strength, but it was always brought emptiness in his life. There are no shortcuts on great lords. Trishanka wanted shortcut to heaven, but he failed miserably. He got it, and so many times we also have that mentality, isn't it? One night full fight. What is that? In those who are giving exams and all those things, we all study one night before, and only those things which will come in the exam, we guess. So those shortcuts sometimes works, but mostly fail miserable. Humility makes one divine. So Kaushika became extraordinary sage, but humility, what he showed, the respect he showed to Vashishta, that envy turned into love. That enmity was, he turned into love. That hatred in respecting him. So humility is one another great thing that makes life great. And not achievement, but devotion that brings greatness in life. So here he went through so many provoking situations. He tolerated. He developed qualities like humility, respect, and he developed devotion to the Lord. So these are the great things that makes our life great. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, thank you. So thank you. Thank you for your wonderful participation. It was very inspiring. And the class was really, really too good. You know, especially the whole pastime of Vishwamitra Muni, right? How the struggle was there, and every time, you know, he had a new challenge. And then lot of things can be learned, and these were the great things in our life we can learn. So let us thank His Grace Satyananda Prabhu by loudly chanting 3 times. Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hare Krishna. And we are going to have one very important announcement. That we are very, very fortunate that tomorrow morning His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj is going to give Srimad Bhagavatam class. And our request to all of you is that we are having some protocols. So tomorrow, if you are coming for Srimad Bhagavatam class, like 8:30 morning, then you have to wear mask compulsory. Wearing the mask is compulsory. So please keep in mind, okay? Then we have few announcements. Today's Prerana festival services are done by the ISKCON devotees who are guided by His Grace Rishi Kishanand Prabhu. So we would like to really thank them for their lot of services by loudly chanting 3 times. Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Around 20 devotees were there. They had some morning sabji cutting also, evening they are doing a lot of services. And next Prerana festival is on 30th of July by His Grace Gauranga Prabhu. Oh. And one important announcement that from BTG Back to Godhead magazine, dear devotees, Hare Krishna, BTG English magazine has a very good overview and Vaishnav perspective of Kashmir files. So for all the IYS, for today only, we are giving single copy at the discount price of ₹25 per copy. So there is a one BTG magazine on Kashmir files. So if you are interested, please go to the stall and you can have more knowledge about it. Okay. So the announcements are done and we will having a nice prasad. So before that, we would like to thank our special guests who have come for this Prerana festival. And also we would like to request those devotees who have came for first time for this Prerana festival. जो लोग पहली बार आए हैं प्रेरणा के लिए, आप अपनी जगह पे खड़े हो जाइए. Hare Krishna. Almost 100, 200 students. So we generally welcome you in our traditional style by 3 times loudly chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So we pray at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada that this should be a very good beginning in your spiritual life. And for you, we have prasadam facility at Bhakti Vedanta Hall. So you can go there, have prasad, and there is a special gift for all of you. So kindly be seated now. आप बैठ सकते हैं. And today we are not going to have kirtan. So we are announcing that the festival is over and you can go down for the